All right. It worked.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. So if you don't know, we are still in Spain. And one of the reasons why we moved to Portugal is because we love to travel. And a good portion of the places that we wanted to visit are on this side of the world, right?
In Europa.
Yes. Europe, Africa, Asia, it's just easier and less expensive to get here from this side of the world.
But the thing about wanting to travel around different parts of the world, wherever it is, it can get very expensive unless you have a good travel hack.
Yes. So we're going to talk about that today. But for those of you who are new to our channel, let me introduce we need to introduce ourselves. My name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and retiring abroad as we build generational wealth. Yes. So you may not know, about 7.5 years ago, we got a wake-up call. We looked at our money. It was looking crazy. We were getting close to retirement age. We were tired, sick and tired of being sick and tired, right?
And even more tired than that.
But about 3.5 years ago, we got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1 million in net worth. However, we retired before we hit full fire. If you don't know what fire is, then you need to take our course. And so it's really important that we stick to budget and manage our expenses well, right?
Yep.
So we're going to talk today about how we manage to do that. Y'all know we're a little bougie.
I ain't bougie.
You're
bougie.
He's bougie.
I'm a little bit country.
But we got a beer budget. So there are travel hacks and things that we do to make sure that we stay on budget and we can remain retired. We ain't got to go back to nobody's job.
I ain't going back to nobody's job.
We ain't going back to nobody's job, y'all. Let's see who's in the chat, but I'm just going to give a spoiler alert. We're going to talk about travel points just a little bit. The majority of the time, we're going to talk about how we are able to stay here in Spain.
Spain, y'all.
Since August 31st until September 23rd. Without having to pay for accommodations. So some of you already know, but we're going to talk about house-sitting and how we are able to do that and how you should be able to do that too. Y'all got to get on board. So let's see who's in the chat. We already know Valerina's going to watch the replay. Hey, Regina.
Hey, Regina.
Dee Dee McCrae. Shaquan is in the house. Greta's in the house.
How you doing, Greta?
On my way out of here. Phyllis A. Hey, Vicky.
Hey, Vicky.
All the way from New Jersey. It was hot today, y'all. And it is a national holiday for the Catalonian area of Spain.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only a few things open, but there's like stages set up and music going on.
All over the place.
We filmed some of it. We're going to put a video together for you so you can see what it looks like around National Day and just this area. The Catalonian area of Spain. Hey, Eleanor, good to see you. Action VJ. Hey, y'all.
Hey, buddy.
You always remind me. Hit that like button. Hit that like button if this is the kind of content you like. Also hit that notification bell and subscribe button if what we talk about is interesting to you, and you will know every single time we go live or drop a new video. Hey, living life of lounging. Yes.
I like that.
I love it. I
felt that way this morning. I didn't get up till like, what, 10:30?
10:30.
I was lounging.
10:30. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Pam. Hey, Tanya. Jess is in the house. Bon dia.
Bon dia.
Actually, here it's Boa noite. Yes, Boa noite. As I look out to see how dark it is out there, because it's 9:30 at night.
I always have to correct myself anytime I'm talking to somebody.
It's 9:30 at night. Hey, Regina. Shara is in the house. Greta, Professor, Marguerite, LL Cooper is in the house. Hey, Pinky. Alicia, good to see you.
Hey, Krishan.
Krishan is in the house. And you know, if you want, this was all part of what I was going to say, and it took you in the audience to remind me. We moved to Portugal, and we did not see a lot of folks who looked like us doing the thing and offering help. We have partnered with Blacksit Global, and we are offering the help. We got help for y'all. So the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit is happening November 3rd through November 5th. You got 7 days for the early bird prices. 6 days, 7 days, something like that. You don't want to take the chance. Just go ahead and go over there now, pull it up in another tab, and then come back over and watch us. Right?
This Sunday,
right?
Sunday.
Right? Right, Krishan? Hey, Killer Queen, Carmen, Winnie, Maria, Meriton, June. It's good to see all of you guys in the chat. We love you guys so much. We're going to get right to it. The first thing that I want to talk about is the points. Because a lot of folks, especially if they're on the road to financial independence, retire early. If this is not retiring early for you, see, this is what I think. Retiring early depends on what your expectations for your life were. Mm-hmm. We did not retire early age-wise, but we retired earlier than we thought we could. Yeah. Because we didn't know that if we could ever retire. So that's what FIRE stands for. And one of the things is being debt-free, at least debt-free for things that are not collateralized by an asset that is growing in value, like a house, right? So credit card debt and all that kind of stuff. Then people get afraid to use their credit cards because they don't want to go back to how it was.
Right.
And we heard from brokers who said that they have refinanced folks' house to pay off the debt just for them to come back 2-3 years later with the same amount of debt.
Yeah, start all over again.
Y'all, we ain't trying to do that.
And the thing is, you have to make your credit cards work for you. But working for you does not mean it's working for you to get you them new shoes or that new outfit or anything like that. Yeah, it can work for you to do that, but then you have to pay it off. But it can also work for you as far as travel points.
Right.
I
don't really like the cashback thing because it's never enough to make a difference, in my opinion. But points work. And so we're hoping to go to South Africa in February. I'm looking to use points to get us there. It would be nice if Airbnb took points. That would be a hack. But they don't for now. So when we go on house sits, which we are on right now, we are house sitting through trusted house sitters. If you want to get on the platform, that link is below under moving abroad or travel. I'll put it in at the top after this is over. But in any event, sometimes, especially internationally, we have to come early or something like that, and we want to stay in a hotel. I like to stay in hotels when I know we have a late flight and we need some place to leave our bags, right, or we're going to get in late and I don't want to deal with an Airbnb. So, the great thing about hotels is they're open 24 hours. There's always somebody at the front desk, et cetera. So that's how we use hotels. And usually we pay with points. I don't pay cash for those. Points. And those points are not a lot. Points for flights are. Now, if you are afraid to use your credit cards, y'all know what I'm going to say. The 3 cards that we not are recommending necessarily, but know that people have found value with are American Express, of course, mm-hmm. Chase Sapphire, Capital One Venture X. Okay. Depending, they have fees. They do have fees. So if you're not traveling, it may not be worth it. It may not be worth it to incur those fees. But if you are afraid to use them, the hack is to pay it off every time you use it. And then it never accumulates. If you are afraid that at the end of the month, you're going to look at that number and say, I'm just going to pay a little bit of this, right? Because you weren't tracking it. Pay it off every time you use it, or pay it off once a week, or pay it off every time you get paid. Mm-hmm. And that way it never gets out of control. We use our credit card for basically everything where they will take a card, we use it, and we pay it off 100% at the end of the month.
Yeah, you can track your spending, and
It makes things easy.
Keeps your books for you pretty much.
Yeah, because it's all there,
It's all there.
and it's tracking how you're spending the money. Although if you do our unbudget, then you really don't have to track.
No.
Right? So those of you who are in Beyond the Bling or who know about Paula Pants or Adelia Borchade know about the unbudget. Okay. So that's how we deal with points and things like that. The only thing I don't like about points is it's not really good for last minute travel.
No.
Necessarily. If you're traveling on a route that is familiar, like for, God forbid, a funeral, I have used it for those. You overpay with points, but at least they usually still have seats available. But if you're going for a destination, it's harder to find the seats available using points. So you really need to start 5 to 6 months ahead of time, which is what we're doing for South Africa. So that's points. Now, house sits. We've got some do's and don'ts. We've learned a lot. We have we started, y'all know, we took the Stephanie Perry way of doing it. And we started in our hometown in Denver, and that made it easy.
It made it very easy because we were working on our house, and we had folks in the house staying there, renters, and so family renters, and so it made it easy for us to be in another place, watching somebody's house and pet, taking care of that, and it freed us up during the day to go do what we had to do, and then returning in the evening to feed the pet and play with the pet and all that good stuff.
So today, I don't know about pre-pandemic, but today, house sitting usually is pet sitting. So a lot of the places that we watch don't really need a house sitter. Like this place has no plants. There's no plants. It's in a building where the front door is locked. Mm-hmm. There's neighbors right there. And so I don't know that they would necessarily need a house sitter if they did not have pets, but they do have 2 adorable cats. Mm-hmm. And so we are, making sure that their cats have company, companionship, that they get some playtime, that they get food, and that they have a clean potty. That's our payment for free lodging.
You get to stay in a beautiful place.
Yeah. So we've learned some stuff. We don't do house sits. Do you want me to move this over here?
I can't see. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to move our notes here. So we do not do house sits with animals that have no reviews. Mm-hmm. We do not do house sits with animals that have no reviews. And I put it that way because oftentimes, well, not oftentimes, but occasionally people are on Trusted House Sitters platform, and we'll tell you a little bit about that, what the criteria is and how they do the safety stuff and all of that. But yeah, so one of our first house sits, they had 2 dogs and 1 cat. The 2 dogs were like 10 and 12 years old or something like that. And they had house sitters before, and they got good reviews.
Yeah.
When we applied to watch those 2 dogs and the cat, which was an outdoor cat. And they had a backyard and a doggy door and all of that. So it's all good. Plus, it was right down the street from our house.
Things changed before we went to the
when we talked to them via video, we did set up a video chat, and or via Zoom or whatever, and they told us that those 2 dogs unfortunately have passed away, and they forgot to update their profile, and they now have a puppy.
Big puppy.
But the puppy was over 1 year old. So I'm like, okay, that's not like puppy. That's not like pee pads and all of that kind of stuff puppy, or the little sharp nails, and they want to gnaw on everything puppy.
He was a big puppy. Big puppy.
Huge, huge. And well, our granddaughter has a 1-year-old dog, but he doesn't act like that. And he's big.
No, but she's well trained. He's trained.
He's trained. He's trained. When you say no, he obeys. Sometimes when you put the bass in your voice, he obeys every time. Right? And so I'm good with that. But this dog, y'all, for those who've been watching for a while, you guys know we talked about this house sit last year. Oh my gosh. The house was lovely.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
We knew
home.
that because we know the neighborhood lovely. The cat was lovely. The chickens were okay.
Yeah, I even took care of chickens, y'all.
Yes. Denver allows chickens, so it's not surprising for folks to have chickens in their backyard. But this dog, he was not a mean dog. He was just unruly and too big to be that unruly.
Very, very, I mean, he's all over the place.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't listen to commands. He wouldn't listen to anything. And I remember being in touch with the owners and saying, okay, how do you get him to quit jumping up and down on you and running around getting excited? And they said, oh, there's some spray there. It's bitters. Just spray that in his mouth and he'll stop. That knew nothing but piss him off.
Then he started growling.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, I'm not going there.
I'm not doing that. Because the dog was so big that he could put his paws on Rick's shoulders.
Yeah.
Much less mine.
This is a puppy.
Yes, that's how big the dog is. So trusted house sitters, there are 3 levels to trusted house sitters. We belong, and then there's another level for folks who want to get a house sit, who want people to watch their pets. I don't even know what those prices are. So we just got the premium and just for doing sits, not for having people in our house. We don't have any pets anymore. So with that, it comes with anybody who's on trusted house sitters has had a criminal background check, has had their ID verified and identified with their face. So they have some kind of third-party platform. And so if you don't wait till the last minute to pay and apply, because when we applied, it took about 2 weeks to get approved. And I figured out it didn't go all the way through. So I had to hit, like submit again or something like that. But in any event, some people have gotten approved in 2 or 3 days. You go to this third-party site, you show your ID, you take a picture of your ID and you upload that. And then you go to the third-party site and you have to have something with a camera. So your phone or your laptop or something like that. They take a picture of your face in real time and compare it to your ID. Once they figure out that the ID you submitted is you,
yeah.
Then they go ahead and do a background check. So the sitters have had a background check and the people asking for sitters have had a background check. With the highest level, that also comes with 2 highest levels, that also comes with liability insurance. So if God forbid, we broke a important vase or something, there's cats in this house, so they don't have anything like that. But if they did and we accidentally bumped into it, we would be insured through trusted house sitters because we've always had at least the 2nd tier level, right? The homeowners are also insured through trusted house sitters. At the highest level, they offer a cancellation insurance as well. This happens. So, which brings us to one of our other ones. And that is if you're traveling far away from home, make sure that you have the money for a backup plan. Because even with the insurance, you still don't have to pay and then get reimbursed.
Yeah.
If you buy the highest level, which also comes, I think, with some global passes in the airports. What are they? Lounges.
Lounge.
Yeah,
airport lounges.
So, and I'm going to tell you, at Gatwick, was it Gatwick? Where did we land in London?
We were in Heathrow.
They have a public lounge for pay. Don't waste your money or your time. Do not waste your money or your time. It's horrible. It's
Well,
horrible.
we did it because we were going to go to United, but we were in the wrong building,
Yeah, we were in the wrong terminal.
wrong terminal. Yeah,
And so that's another thing, but that's neither here nor there. We will plan accordingly the next
and we
time.
weren't flying United. We were
We weren't.
flying British Airways.
Yeah, we were not flying United, but we still have United passes, so we wanted to use them. Um, Ooh, that lounge! It was like a step above just being out there with with the unwashed. So it was, and the food.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
yeah.
It was not worth it. And it
No.
was very expensive. It was more expensive than you can show up at United, I think, and pay 50 or $60 and get into the United Lounge and have access to everything, which usually includes food and showers and all of that.
Mhm.
We paid, it was like €85 per person.
Yeah, it
Never
definitely was
again.
no.
Never again. Never again. Never again. And then there was a time limit
Well, the beer and the wine were free, and now I know why.
because it sucked.
Just get drunk, you'd be okay. Everything looked good.
but they only allow you, that only buys you like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, it's not long.
It's not like, and we had a 10-hour layover. So no, don't do that. But in any event, so that's trusted house sitters. It comes with the lounge passes at the highest level, the extra insurance for cancellations. Things happen, family emergencies happen, vacations have to cancel, and sometimes it can happen after you've already arrived in country. So this is, if you're going to do international house sits, you might want to go ahead and get that highest level of membership, unless you live over here. So if you live over here, then it's a little bit easier. But
Right.
but even traveling from country to country,
Yeah,
you know, um, we were in this area of Spain 3 days before our house sit. So had they canceled, and then our plane tickets are not until the end of September, we did not have that highest level. So that would have been an adjustment. So the first thing is we don't do house sits without animal reviews.
yeah, that's an important thing.
Make sure that the animals don't go for the bait and switch.
Yeah, make sure it's the same animal that you first talked about.
Exactly. So we have decided that we're not doing puppies anymore. No puppies.
And somebody asked, who was it? I think it's a couple up. Was it a Great Dane? No, it wasn't a Great Dane. It wasn't as big as a Great Dane. I've had Great Danes, and Great Danes are much more calmer. It was I want to say a Burmese, no, not a Burmese mountain dog. Is it a Burmese mountain dog?
Something like that.
Black, brown, kind of shaggy hair, almost like a collie.
Yeah.
But they're big.
It reminded me of a border collie, but a big, huge on steroids. That's what it reminded me of.
And it was a beautiful dog. He wasn't trained. It's like when he clamped down, just playing with you. And I had to kind of push him away off of me a lot of times.
He didn't realize his own strength.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
And somebody said CBD drops. I'm not giving nobody's dog no CBD. Anything that they didn't tell me not to give him.
Lord, come back and the
dog is high.
Hey, but just I hear you. Yeah. I hear you. But I wouldn't be happy if somebody did that. Of course, I don't have untrained dogs. Black folk, come on now.
Yeah, you want to be careful.
I have never met a black person with an untrained dog. Now I'm being very, so y'all don't get the comments, but you know how we are. Everything has to be perfect. Our kids can't be kids. We shut up and sit down and be still, right? So Roberto, I'm going to put a star and we will answer that question at the end, because today we are not talking about real estate in Lisbon. We are talking about house sitting. So yeah, you get lounge passes, Alicia, with the highest level of trusted house sitters. So you might want to upgrade, but it's only two per year. 600 lounges across the globe. The cheapest price to South Africa has like a good layover. So I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. No, not an Irish wolfhound. I think it was Bernese
No,
dog,
it was, yeah, I think it was
a mountain
Bernese
Bernese
Mountain.
mountain dog, right?
Beautiful dog.
Yeah. Okay. So first, we don't do house sits with animals with no reviews. Two, we make sure that we have extra money in case we have to pay for accommodations because of an emergency cancellation of the house sit. All right. The next one is for us, it needs to be accessible for by public transportation. We don't have a car, and we live in Lisbon. We don't have a car, and for the most part, if it's a place that we really want to go to, I've got some houses. I've got some houses marked with my favorites that are not accessible by public transportation. If they become available in enough time, we'll just rent a car from the airport or wherever to get there. Again, you got to bake that into the budget and see if
Right.
that's something that you want to do. I don't mind driving in most of Western Europe because they drive on the right side of the street like we do. I've driven in South Africa long distances. I'm not doing that again.
I drive in Lisbon if I wasn't scared of how they drive.
I'm not driving in Lisbon. I will drive in Portugal. I'm not driving in Lisbon.
Well, yeah, I'll drive in Portugal. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I'll drive in Spain.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, you know, it's, yeah.
Go ahead. Say what
No,
you
I
want
was
to
going
say.
to say that, you know, sometimes they'll leave you a car. Sometimes people leave their car. They left us a car when we did overdose,
Yeah, they left
and
us
they left
Houston.
us an electric car. I'm not, myself personally, I don't like driving somebody else's car. It was a nice little electric car, but
So look in the fine print with trusted house sitters. If you get the highest level, we probably were going to be covered by that. But that I didn't feel good when we were in Obidosh. I don't know if you guys remember, but had I, we would have used the car because we were out in the countryside. It wasn't in the middle of the
yeah, it
city.
wasn't in the middle of the city.
So I felt fine, driving out there where you see a car every 5 to 10 minutes or something like that. I would have felt fine driving somebody else's car. Krishan said, Lord, they drive like maniacs here. They do. Y'all, we got into an accident our third day back in Lisbon last year. I mean, and it was like one of those cars was totaled, if not both. And it doesn't take much to total a car when they're so flimsy. So in any event, yeah, no, I'm not about that life. I'm not trying to do that at all. Okay, so it has to be accessible by public transportation, or you have to be willing to rent a car.
Mhm.
Make sure you are comfortable with all of the animals. Ask questions.
Yeah, yeah. Make sure that make sure that you're comfortable.
So I'm going to be honest. One of the things that I was not 100% comfortable with, wasn't uncomfortable, but not 100% comfortable, is that the cat's nails have to be trimmed from time to time. And I was like, okay, so this is going to be interesting. They're not kittens with those little sharp things. And interestingly, I've noticed that they bite their own nails. So I'm checking on them to make sure. But so far, so good. They're pretty down there. And if I trim them anymore, I'll get to the quick, and I don't want to do that. So I've cut cat's nails before, and by myself. And I had a cat, Billy. She wasn't into that. She was like, it was a struggle every single time. These cats are about a third of the size of that cat. So I think that would make it easier. Plus, there's two of us. So a little uncomfortable, but not enough to say no, and still know that we can take care of these pets and show them all love, because that's important.
Yeah.
If you don't love animals, don't
do it.
Watch another video. This is not for you. This is not for you. Seriously, because for any of you who've had pets are family. Pets are family. And you wouldn't leave your kids with folks who don't like kids, even if they're a family member. If you know that family member who doesn't like kids and they're going to make your kids miserable over the weekend or whatever, you wouldn't leave them. So you wouldn't leave your pets either with folks who would just merely tolerate them. You have to be into them.
Yeah.
And
and I used to never be a cat person. I was always a dog person. And it's like, but since we've been on house sitting and watching cats, I mean, there's a whole new relationship I have with them. They're just cool.
They are.
They just chill. I mean, one of them runs around, and then, well, she gets into bed in the morning under the cover.
Not with us.
And she sleeps most of the day. And then the other one just chills. She's just all around, comes and smooths next to you, and then she gets tired of you and she goes about her way. And all the cats that we've watched, even what's the honey bear?
Honey bear. Well, it was just Honey, but I called her Honey Bear.
Honey bear. Yeah. She's cool.
Yeah. These two cats, what's really, really cute. So they're 1 year old. They're still kittens. They're still small, but they're not kittens where they, attack everything that moves. But one of them is such a lover, and she'll come in and she just starts licking on the other one. Then she'll come over to you and she'll start licking on you. And that's not a cat thing. That's a dog thing. But she's such a giver. It's so sweet. And she's got these pretty eye-lined eyes. I don't know. Again, you have to really like animals. If you don't like animals, this is not for you.
Yeah, these cats are cool. We love these cats.
Yeah. So make sure you're comfortable with all of the animals and ask questions. Assess your compatibility, because just like with the Bernese dog, this is supposed to be a vacation. It's supposed to be pleasurable. So also think about what you see your day looking like.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that the responsibilities they're asking you to do, you can do without being resentful that you're on vacation and having to do these things, right? So if you're out in the country, I mean, you can take care of horses. That might be your thing. They might ask you to ride the horses. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But one of the things that I realize is that if we're in a place where we want to take day trips and it's a flat or an apartment and they have a dog, that dog is going to need to be walked, taken out at minimum twice a day. And so you really can't take day trips if you've got a dog that's in an apartment.
Yeah, you got to take them out.
Right? You're going to have to be accessible. So dogs to me are in dense cities where everything that we want to do is going to be in the city. Right now we are outside of Barcelona. And so, yeah, we would want to take day trips. And I thought about that when we took this house sit,
mm-hmm.
But cats are easy. And these cats are really, really easy. So they never eat all of their food. So if they get their food, an hour late or so, it's not like right now, their bowls are full and we fed them 2 hours ago. 3 hours ago. So,
But you'll come through in the morning and it'll be empty.
Yeah, by the morning time, it will be empty. All right. Questions. Let's see. Please drop the link to the Move to Portugal Summit. I can do that. I'm going to put the Move to Portugal Summit in the chat right now, because one of the ways to be able to do a house sit in England like we did, house sits on the countryside of Portugal, house sits in Spain, right, is to move to Portugal. Move to Portugal. And so I just put that in the chat. Y'all can see that. It's also in the description below. Catnip for cats. So these cats eat gourmet food, y'all. These cats eat gourmet food.
They eat good.
Like, So do they reimburse you if they cancel a home sitting? So I would check the fine print of the insurance, but there is cancellation insurance at the highest level. So, again, Heriberto, I think that you will have to pay and then get your receipts and turn your receipts into the insurance company and get reimbursed that way. How much they will reimburse, I did not check. But but probably should. So my piece says, heard of a policy being enforced in New York City about Airbnb, house sits, pet sits, tenants won't be allowed to lock rooms, renters can't enter, and they must be in their homes, residence during the rental sit. Here's another tip that we've heard about. If you show up at customs and they say, what is the intention of your trip? You just say vacation. Don't say I'm here to house sit, because that sounds like you're here to work. You're here to do exchange goods and services, right? We're here on vacation. We are staying in some folks' house. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's ridiculous for New York City. I think it's ridiculous, but whatever. What can you do? Sometimes city councils overreach, and they overreach oftentimes being career politicians who have never run a business. They're attorneys or whatever. They've never run a business. They don't get it. They don't connect the dots. So, I don't know. Cats are low maintenance. Lower maintenance than dogs, I should say. They're not totally low maintenance, because, when it's time to play, I have to, I bring out the toys and they go crazy. All right, Jazziel Chick. Hello, everyone. Rick and Halisi, I like animals. Yay, but believe they have a place. I don't kiss animals or put them in my bed. Anyways, my concern is safety as a solo female traveler. How safe is it? So as we said, okay, so I'm going to deal with the first part. I get you with the bed thing. So we don't allow the cats in until we've made the bed. And then she usually goes at the foot of the bed, but not where we sleep, not under the sheets. So she goes on top of the sheet. So, and so I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with her being where we sleep, dog, cat, or otherwise. So I don't allow pets to sleep in the bed.
Yeah, I don't kiss animals either.
We don't kiss animals
I didn't kiss
either.
mine.
No. But this is their house. And so if the owners say that, and this is something that you need to ask, because all owners are not the same. If the owners say they don't prefer that the cats get on the counter, but what can you do about it? You have to be okay with that. And, they did leave a spray bottle, which I never really have to spray it. I can just show it to them, and then, and then they don't come and try to knock down the lights. Otherwise, I wipe off the counter before I start cooking, and I call it a day. I'm not a germaphobe, but I don't kiss animals in the mouth either. I don't kiss animals in the mouth either. So safety. So Jazzy Chick, that I belong to, female solo travelers groups and all this, and a good portion of them do house sits. So I can't imagine it being any less safe than staying in an Airbnb or a hotel.
Right.
Actually, even more, perhaps, because the people who are in this apartment building, they live here. And so they want the building itself to be safe.
To be secure, yeah.
Right. So they make sure the front door is closed and all of that, right? Again, the people whose house we are watching right now, they had to go through a criminal background check, just like we had to go through a criminal background check. They Googled us, we Googled them. Right? I mean, if people don't show up on Google, they want to see our LinkedIn profile, our Airbnb profile, and all of that. And we want to see it on them. What have other house sitters say? That's why we don't do house sits that don't have reviews. Even as a couple where I, of course, am fortunate enough that I don't have that single female travel thing most of the time because I'm traveling with Rick. But still, we ain't fools. We don't want to be in a get out type of situation.
I mean, and a lot of times too, the houses that we have been to, all of them have had alarm systems and everything else.
Yep.
That you
From that standpoint, yeah, they all have had alarm systems, security doors, and things like that. So, but the one in England didn't. But it did have a
The
locked front
apartment,
door. There were two
had to
doors,
go through two doors.
two
Yeah.
doors to get to the apartment itself. And again, you know, Europe is just not as dangerous as the United States. So now, if you are house sitting in the United States, because we've done that too, two houses and one apartment. And I know Denver, so we weren't staying in no janky neighborhood.
No.
And so that's another thing that you can do. One of the things that I did while they were making a decision on this house sit is I know the general area. So I go on Google Earth or Google Maps and I walk around the neighborhood to see what we're talking about. But again, the reviews kind of speak for themselves. Look at the people who are saying, giving the reviews, look at exactly what they're saying. And who it is. Are they kids? Are they older? You know, and then take what they say with a grain of salt and or in context of who they are. So I would say,
Right.
If people trust you in their home, you probably are pretty cool, right? Like I know people get concerned about cameras and all of this and that, but I mean, let's just be frank. Their laptops and stuff are here.
Yeah.
I ain't got time. Like I couldn't care less, you know. And they left it out, so that means they have entrusted us not to be going all up in their business,
Right.
right? And so I reward that trust by I'm not interested in their business.
No. If, you know, and we haven't run into one of the houses or apartments we stayed in, and they didn't open it up and say, "Hey, there's food in the refrigerator. There's this. There's that." You know,
This is your home.
you're welcome
now.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome to whatever you want, unless they say, "Don't mess with this. Don't mess with that," or something's locked or something like that. No.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll usually get that in the description. If they're those type of people, and I don't want to house sit for those type of people, you'll get that in the description.
Yeah.
You will get that in the description. All right. So we said compatibility. Do you have experience with a specific type of pets? You know, chickens we had experience with, and are you comfortable handling them? Discuss their needs and routines with the homeowners. Sometimes they're going to need meds, you know, either orally or otherwise. You got to feel comfortable with all of that. So ask questions, and you can always say no. You can have the interview and then think about it and marinate on it. And if they offer to you, you say, you know what, I don't think that I'm the best fit for that. That is perfectly okay. And they probably would appreciate that more than taking it and then not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Because they want to go where they want to go and enjoy their stay and everything else.
Greta, now the first time we went live, they were zooming around. I have no idea where these cats are. I have no idea.
I could tell you where one of them is. She's sitting on the bed.
Yeah. So maybe before we leave this house sit, we'll be able to show you. I do have pictures of them because that's another thing. So I won't talk about that until we get to that. Let me see. Think about what. Okay. So I might as well talk about it now. So make sure that you understand how you're going to communicate with the owner. And so we're on WhatsApp. The owners are on WhatsApp. I send pictures of their cats regularly so that they can rest assured that we are still in their home. We are still watching their cats. And
they might be watching us now.
Yeah, they might be. They're from Colorado, which is just hilarious. So, and that, and that their cats look healthy and happy, right? So I take pictures. And the other thing is I take those pictures and then add them to the profile. So when you're setting up your profile, you might not have, especially if you don't have any pets anymore, you may not have a lot of pictures of you with pets. But obviously that helps. So at first it was just pictures of us around the world. Here we are in Greece and here we are in Montenegro, whatever. But I have added pictures of us playing with the pets that we get to house sit. And I feel like it's kind of like being like a grandparent. We've had pets our whole marriage. This is the first time we haven't, where, our last dog we had to put down about 3 or 4 months ago, maybe 5 months ago now. And so, like grandparents, we can come get our pet fix in and then give them back. Here you go. Here you go.
Oh no, I like
No,
these two cats.
no vet bill, no vet bill, no expensive gourmet food, because these cats, they eat better than we do. Alicia, I grew up with dogs. I've definitely found with pet sitting that I enjoy cats a lot more than I thought, right? They're really entertaining.
They really are.
They really are. And I'm allergic to cats, y'all. But I have built up an immunity. So if you're horribly allergic, that's not going to work. But I used to be. I mean, like, if they rubbed on me, I would start itching where they rubbed. Their cat hair would make my eyes swell up and everything else. So I have built up an immunity over the years to cats. And I'm a Leo, right? So cats are smart, wicked smart, wicked smart. And here's something funny. So the first week we were here, maybe the first few days, we're looking on Netflix or something, and there was a cat documentary. And I don't know, about an hour long. And it was all about cats, how they think,
knowing
what's
in a cat's mind,
what their tail wagging means, what you should feed them, what not to, how to discipline them, how not to, how to train them. I wasn't interested in the training thing. But here's what's so funny. So that the lover cat, the one who's the giver, she was enthralled throughout that movie. And when they went to the history and they started getting the hieroglyphics and stuff, she kind of walked away. But soon as those cats came back on screen, she was looking like she understood, and she heard the meows and she would meow back. It was hilarious. I had to take a picture of that and send it to the owners. So just hilarious. So what I will do, if you are in our Facebook group, our Fire Over 50 Facebook group, I'll post a couple of pictures of the kitties because they really are sweet. There's a video of one licking the other, and it's just, he's like, yeah, whatever, they're cats. But they're so cute.
That's what they do.
But they're so cute. Have you ever had to cancel a house sit due to the pet owners being difficult? No. Mm-hmm. No. And once I'm there, even with that difficult dog, we saw it through. We saw it through because it's not the dog's fault that he's not trained. It's the owner's fault. So we got to make sure the dog is fed. We got to make sure he gets out for his, some exercise and all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. Even though it was just a nightmare. It's not the dog's fault. So you can tell from the description, from how they write, and look at the reviews again. There's some that's like, they start off, I need a highly organized person who will, detail oriented. Well, I'm like, no. Okay, I'm not doing this anal retentive thing where,
you got to clock in.
Right. If the cats eat at 7:01, instead of 7:00, all hell's going to break loose. No, I don't want to do that. This is our vacation. And
after you got to take all kind of medications. I mean, 1, 2 medications maybe, but I don't want to have to take care of a sick animal.
Well, if they need injections and stuff like that, if all you have to do is take a pill and put it in some peanut butter or some cheese or something like that and give it to them, I'm good with that. But if you have to give injections and all of that kind of stuff, some people don't mind. But know what you want and what you want to do, what your days are going to look like, how you plan your trips, So again, I'm just going to reiterate. I knew that we were going to be taking day trips while we were here. And so cats that eat 12 hours apart, that works well. There are some places where they're on an automatic feeder. That's even better. We had one house sit where it was an automatic feeder and an automatic litter cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
All we had to do was make sure the cats didn't get dead, play with them a little bit. And I mean a little bit because they were Siamese. They weren't into it. They didn't care. For your local house sits, did you tell the Denver homeowners why you were house sitting locally? Yeah, we did. We did. But I don't know that you have to. Like, I don't know that you have to have a reason.
I mean, if they ask you,
Yeah. And I think, like, if you're trying to get those 5 stars, right, you want to get the 5 stars so that you get more yeses. I haven't gotten any no's yet. I got a non-response, but I was like the 5th applicant or something like that. But in any event, I don't think that you necessarily need a reason. You know, if you're in LA and you want to house sit for somebody in LA, it's like, I'm new to this. I want to try it out, and I don't want to pay airfare to do it. There you go. There's your reason, right? And I need those 5 stars. So I will do a bang up job. So you will give me 5 stars and I will watch your kitty, right? If I were in LA and I lived in the Valley, I'd be looking at Malibu, Palos Verdes, Palisades, with a pool on the side. You know what I'm saying? That's what I would be looking at. I certainly wouldn't be looking at anything in the Wilshire district. It's like, I might as well stay home for that. So not soon enough. I love cats. They are really easy. Give them food, water, and keep their litter clean. No need to walk, right? Most keep to themselves till they're ready to interact with you.
Yes.
Exactly. They let you know when it's time to play. Otherwise, they don't want to be bothered or they're asleep. It's their house. It is their house. So, all right. We talked about the pet's temperament. Ask as many questions as you need to feel comfortable. Before applying, make sure that the costs to get there are worth it. For us, we're on a budget. We have to stick to our budget. I can't overspend. So before we even got word that they wanted to interview us to come here, I'd already checked Barcelona flights, right? Already checked the flights, already knew, even worst case scenario, it's well within the budget that I had allocated for travel. And so that's good. But also take into account, and this is what I didn't take into account, folks, ride share. Look to see what the ride share costs are. How are you going to get from the airport to the place? And here's another thing: when we do things where we have to fly, we get there the day before. I think this is one of the things that I have in here, but I'm just going to say it now since we're talking about it. We get there the day before, if not even earlier, depending if we want to see some other stuff, right? But you don't want to take the last flight out.
No.
Because there's no margin for error. There's no margin for error. You guys know, when we went to Manchester.
Lord.
And we didn't take the last flight out, but you might have thought we did because they had fog or something happening.
It was fog. They could not land in Manchester, so they diverted us to Liverpool. Then they realized that the Liverpool airport couldn't handle the baggage and stuff luggage. So they sent us, where else?
To
another place, Leeds. So we landed in Leeds. What time were we supposed to get in?
We were supposed to get in around 9:30.
So then when we landed in Leeds, we had to wait in the airport for a couple of hours because they had to send buses to come pick us up.
And bring us
back to Manchester. So we ended up getting to the hotel at 3 a.m.
3 a.m. in the morning, y'all. That was not that. No. So 3-4 hours sleep. We had to be at the homeowner's house the next day before like 11 o'clock because they had to catch their flight. Right. And then show us all the stuff, introduce us to Pita.
Pizza. Pizza.
I still think about Peter.
I do too.
And introduce us to the cat and show us where everything is. And so, that late night, woo, Lord, that was not fun. That was not fun. So also consider the cost of if you are coming from the United States, is there a visa? That's why we live in Portugal. We're doing a Move to Portugal virtual summit. Information is in the chat and below. I'll put it in the chat one more time. So think about the visa, think about travel insurance if you're traveling outside of your home country. Now, our health insurance, it works here in Spain or all over the EU or just Spain?
Spain.
Okay, so we didn't have to worry about it for this trip. If we go someplace else, then we will. But you got to think about all of that now. So what could have been, we are here for 3.5 weeks. You guys do the math. Even at the lowest price Airbnb, let's just see. You get an Airbnb for $55 a night, and we're here for 24 days. That's $1,320 that we've saved. What Airbnb is only $50 a night that you'd want to stay in? Not I. Well, actually, off season, we were paying $60 a night in Lisbon when we did our scouting trip.
I mean, and where we are is it's in the middle of everything. It's just perfect. It's a perfect spot to be in.
Yeah.
That if you were coming to visit this place,
this is where you want
to stay.
Yeah. We are in the tourist area. So consider all of those costs. Saving $1,300. $1,300, y'all. Come on now. All right. Location. Research it thoroughly. Consider the local culture, language, etc., the climate, and make sure that it's in proximity to everything that you would want to do. Like I said, I go on and I walk around Google Earth. Also look on Google Earth, sometimes the pictures are like 5 years old. But for the major cities, they're usually during the pandemic or even later than that. Mm-hmm. So walk around, see what's up with the neighborhood and things like that. Now, this is Southern Europe. Don't get put off by the graffiti because well, not even just Southern Europe. When I walked around Edinburgh, because we wanted to go to Scotland, and so I was Google Earth walking around Edinburgh. And there's a lot of graffiti there as well, or there was in those pictures anyway. Make sure that you have access and or they tell you about their veterinarian, right? Leave the number for the veterinarian and all that kind of stuff. What else? Ask a lot of questions about older pets, their medical history, everything like that. You don't want any surprises. And you want to ask about this on the interview. They might think they're interviewing you, but you're interviewing them as well.
Right, you are.
Because you are paying money to get to their location, unless you're doing a house sit in town. But still, you're interviewing them as well. So make sure you ask lots of questions. If they say that, the dog has arthritis, okay, so what does that look like on a regular basis? What should I be expected to do that I would not necessarily know? So we get all types of experience. Come on now. All right, Jess is looking to do 2 months in Portugal next summer, now looking at hostels. There's a lot of hostels in the Lisbon area.
Yeah, there is.
I walk by them all the time. I keep saying I'm going to go in and film the rooms, and one of these days we're going to make that happen. One of these days. You all keep bugging us about it, and then we'll make it happen. You want to make sure that the home is in a safe neighborhood, right? Just going back to what Jazzy Olchik said, right? You want to make sure that it's in a safe neighborhood, something that you would feel comfortable staying, okay? Establish communications. We talked about that. Text messages, video calls, whatever they want to do. You have to make sure, one, that you can provide it, and two, that you want to do it.
Yeah.
To me, sending short videos and pictures of their pets to them on a regular basis means that they can enjoy their vacation and they're going to be checking in with us less.
Mm-hmm. Just puts their mind at ease.
Right? Exactly. I don't want anybody micromanaging. So you beat them to the punch and you make sure that they feel comfortable with about their pets.
When we used to go somewhere and we used to send Frisco to a pet sitter,
they would send pictures.
They send pictures and you can see he's okay. So
yeah, he's doing the Frisco thing. It does make a difference. It does make a difference. And then lastly, sometimes people will want you to do things around the home. When we were doing the chickens, they wanted us to water the grass. So whatever it is, you've got to make sure that you have a thorough understanding and that you're willing to do it. And don't say yes when you know deep down you don't want to do it.
Yeah, don't say yes if you don't want
I'm not cleaning anybody's pool. I'm not mowing anybody's lawn. I will water plants. We'll water plants and stuff like that. Clean up after yourself. But I'm not the gardener. I'm not the pool keeper. I'm not doing it. So, all right. So that's what we got for y'all. That is what we got. We are in, as you guys see, all the stone in the background. We are in this beautiful location. So what questions do you have about house sitting that you don't already know? I know a good portion of you are Exodus Summit people, but there's a good portion who are not and who have never heard of house sitting. And we weren't going to do this video, but we were at an event with Christina and Aman of Our Rich Journey, and we were talking about the fact that we were coming to Spain to do this house sit. And she's like, "How did you find that?" They had no idea about trusted houses. She's like, "You should do a video on that." I was like, well, but there's Stephanie Perry. She's already doing a video. She already does videos on that. She's like, but you're not Stephanie. You guys need to do a video on that because everybody in your audience does not necessarily watch Stephanie Perry. And so, and she's right, because then we talk to clients and they don't know about it. And so we thought it was important to know, look, there's a lot of ways to do this. And when we were making the decision on whether we were going to retire in 2022 or wait until we reach FIRE in 2025, one of the things that helped convince him is when I showed him house sitting, because he's like, how are we going to be able to do the things that we want to do? Now, every time we travel, we don't only travel for house sits, but I will definitely look at all of the cities that we want to stay in, that we want to visit. And I look for houses that I'd want to stay in and I mark them so that when they come up, and this is across the globe, so that when they come up, I get alerted and hopefully we're the first ones to apply if the dates work. He wants to go back to London. We could literally house sit in London for a year. And never have pay rent. There are so many house sits in London. It is out of control. And you could literally do it just all year long. Some countries less so. I haven't seen too many in Asia. They're there, but I don't see them that often. Some friends of ours did 6 weeks in Thailand at a house sit. So we know that they exist, but I don't see them that often.
Yeah, I see them in France. I see them all of Italy.
Yeah.
All over the place.
A lot in the United States.
In beautiful places, beautiful homes.
I haven't seen any in South America, in any country in South America. I have seen them in Central America, in Panama and Costa Rica and Mexico. So that's North America, basically.
I know the Arbros did some house sits, I believe, in Central America.
Yeah. But I have not seen any in like Colombia, Brazil, some of the places that we wanted to visit. So, okay. Samora's asking Samora Chin. No name. Welcome. Hi there.
Hi.
Thanks for covering this topic. We are in Orlando, Florida and need a pet sitter in 2 weeks. Is it possible in that short of a time to sign up and get someone? Yes, it is. We see last minute ones all the time. And so the other thing that you can do is once you sign up, you can go in and look let's just say you have a dog. Look for all of the people who are willing to watch dogs who live in Orlando, Florida, and you can reach out to them. They'll usually put availability dates up and things like that. That's what we do. If they don't have availability dates listed, it doesn't mean that they're not available. They just might not know that that's a feature that they can do. So you can reach out to them, and I would definitely do that. I would definitely do that. How long did it take you to book your first house sit? We booked the first one we applied for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it helps to be a little bit on the mature side age-wise, right? People don't want necessarily kids watching their house. They don't mind family. They don't mind couples. But, you know, so most of the folks who are watching Our Black Utopia are 40 and over, and that's a good thing because they want mature people who they know
will take care of their place.
Take care of it. If something happens, they're not like, oh, what should I do? Right? You've got to be the type of person who can figure stuff out. If every time something goes wrong in your house, you got to call somebody else, not an expert electrician. I'm not talking about that, but you have to, what do I do? What do I do? And house sitting's not for you. You have to be a person who can figure things out. Like right now, they're hiking somewhere. Their cell service is only in the evening. You know, if there was a water leak or something like that, we'd have to figure it out.
Oh, and they go through different things. I mean, he told us where to turn stuff on, where to turn the main valves off. Do different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, they're neighbors, and their neighbors know about them. Their neighbors know that we're here, taking care of the place and stuff. If we needed to reach out, we can reach out.
Exactly. But you have to be the type of person who won't mind going knocking on some strangers' doors and saying, hey, there's a leak. Who should we call here in the area, right? And if they're not home, I know how to Google it.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, we did have the house that we did in Overdose. The water kept running, and we had to contact maintenance to come and fix it.
So the sprinklers would not stop. And so I WhatsApped them and told them it appears that you've got sprinklers that are just running all the time and that they're not turning off, just one section. And I told them which one it was. And so they actually texted their gardener and he came over and fixed it. But not just saying, oh, I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's okay.
Can't ignore it. Can't let it go.
Oh, I'm sure it's okay. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to get you those 5 stars. So yeah, I think one of the things is, KB, is that you want to put together a good cover letter template that explains why you are the best person for the job. You know, why you like pets, why you like pet sitting, etc. And then have people that you know write reviews for you so you can have some reviews already. When we first started, I had one friend who wrote a review for me, and then we already had reviews on Airbnb. So I put our Airbnb profile in there, and then we had the one review. It helps when you're getting people in your own city to get that initial review. They don't have to trust that you have to fly somewhere and pay for all of that to get there and all of that. You're there. You've got to, right? They can probably Google you easier. So we are very not transparent, but I would say public online. So if you Google our name, we come up. It's not like, who in the heck are these? It's like we come up. You know, even before YouTube, we come up. And so you can see our Facebook, you can see our LinkedIn. Instagram is whatever, but you know what I'm saying. And so we're not just some mystery people. You can see the other people we're linked to. It's funny because he said, oh, we've got a mutual friend, the people who are house sitting. We've got a mutual friend on Facebook or LinkedIn. So obviously they're Googling. Yeah. So you want to make sure you have a profile online. That helps your chances. It really does. during the video interview, is it okay to ask the homeowner to do a live video walkthrough, or is this a no-no? Oh yeah, definitely.
Sure. Yeah.
Definitely. We have not done a house sit where we have not had, well, I take that back. The Obidosh one we didn't because they were already traveling. House sitters had to cancel or change their arrangements in the middle, and they had a gap. So we came in last minute for that person in Orlando, Florida, last minute to fill in for a couple of days in Obidosh. But that's the only one where we didn't have a video chat. We had video chats with every single other pet owner.
Yeah. Yeah. And if yeah, they can do a walkthrough if they're comfortable with doing a walkthrough through their home.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
they can say no. It's up to them.
And if they say no, then why not? What you hiding? That's not the house that you want, right? So when we were on the Zoom with these folks, they did kind of take the computer and turn it around because I was commenting on the beautiful stone walls, and so they were kind of turning around so that we could see that, and then pick up one of the cats and whatnot. But yeah, you want to ask for whatever is going to make you feel comfortable. I don't think if you're going to be staying in someone's house, I do not think that it is unreasonable to ask them to walk you around, because I know some of us, like, I don't do filth. I don't do filth. We have never stayed in a place that was filthy.
No.
So most of the people who can afford, one, to pay for the membership, it's not that expensive, but still, for homeowners, it's going to be a little bit more. And then they're traveling, so they got a little bit of cash. I don't do filth. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't do filth. So again, look at those reviews. If it doesn't have a review, do you really want to do it? And that's why Orlando, Florida, you want to get somebody who's local. You want to get somebody who's local. That's going to help you get your reviews as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have pets, but I've had them in the past. Same with us. How to put together a nice profile for house sitting. So I can share with you, you all, the template that we use here. Let me write that down. What I'll do is I'll put it in a Google Drive, and then I'll drop a link. Can you write that down for me, please, baby?
What am I writing?
So the template that we use to do house sits. So I'm going to tell you, I copied Stephanie Perry's, and I've since kind of changed it around. And so what I've changed it to, I will put a template.
Is there a parade out there?
There's a parade outside.
There's a parade going on outside.
Yeah, so they had concerts going on earlier. We went over there and filmed some of that, but now we hear like
bagpipes,
bagpipey type music passing by right underneath. If y'all can't hear it, then good. But yeah, there's definitely a parade going on. This is our life, y'all. This is our life where we can get informed about the Catalonian culture.
Yeah, we just go out on the little balcony there and watch the parade.
And then watch the parade. And watch the parade. It's like that at our home in Lisbon too, because the street off of the street that we live on is one of the streets of a lot of the parades, processionals, and all of that, Mardi Gras, everything comes down our street.
Yeah, it's so cool.
It really is cool. I'm going to put the link for the house sitting. It is in the description below already. That's the Move to Portugal house sit. So the description for Trusted House Sitters. It's Trusted House Sitters is the platform that we use. It is in the description below. You have to look under travel. So I have those sections. It's under travel. After the video, I will copy it and paste it near the top for those who are watching from the future. If you're watching from the future, hey, you should try house sitting.
Yeah.
If you like pets, you should try house sitting. This is like one of the best kept travel hack secrets in the world, y'all.
And you got to know, you meet some cool people.
Yes.
I mean, the owners that we're house sitting for now, just the first time we met, they met us at the train station. They came and met us at the train station. We walked back to their place, and it's like we grew up knowing each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It
you
really
meet
is.
some fantastic people.
You really do. You really do. Yeah, it's one of the best kept secrets. So, all right, let's see. I missed the link. Blah blah blah. What else do we have? Luna Pocket Bully. New name. Hello there.
Hello, hello.
Like the picture of the dog. Love your stream. Please, can I have a mention all the way from the UK? You are nice people. Thank you, Luna. There you go.
There you go, Luna.
There you go. All the way from the UK. So we just talked to someone else who lives in the UK. Yeah, we just learned there's okay. Hopefully she's right. If she's not right, maybe Luna, you can correct us. But according to her, you cannot get a fixed rate mortgage in Britain. How do you do real estate investing?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
It's one of the girls.
So, yep, there she goes. She found a toy, so she's bouncing it across the Heim link. And this may have been asked already. Bed bugs. Do you bring a sleeper and your own pillow? It's kind of like camping gear. No. Reviews, y'all. Reviews. If they don't have reviews, if I can't see where we're gonna sleep, right? If it's not, we don't stay in housing that is not better than where we live. We do not stay in housing that is not better than where we live.
Right.
Now, there's like this kitchen. It's cooler looking, but it's not nicer than our kitchen because I cook, and so I need more prep space. So it's definitely cooler with cooler appliances, but I definitely need more prep space. But in general, this is a very, very, very upscale apartment. One of the goals that I have with house sitting is that I want to live like a millionaire without working hard to get that millionaire lifestyle. So all the places with pools and things like that where we don't have to make, but I can chill by the pool. That's where I want to stay. That's where I want to stay.
And they're out there.
And they are out there. We stayed in one. We stayed in an all glass house that looked out over the golf course and had a pool and the whole 9 yards. Yeah. So no, never had an issue with bed bugs. Usually the owners will tell you, we just changed the sheets. They're clean. Usually there's a washer. I've already washed the sheets since we've been here, even though there's other clean sheets that they had already washed and showed us where they were so that we could change because we're staying here for so long, 3.5 weeks. But I just washed the sheets that were on there. And yeah, these. So most of the folks you will find who do this kind of thing are not going to put up with no bed bugs.
No.
They're not putting up with no bed bugs. Or bugs, period. So the only thing I've seen in this house is a silverfish or the flies that come in through the window. I'm not sure if you answered this question. As a house sitter, would I pay for my airfare? So, hey, Cheryl, you pay to get there and you pay to get home. And you take care of their pet and you stay in their house for free. It's kind of like a barter, right? Money does not change hands. They don't pay us. We don't pay them.
But a lot of times, would you say it's if you need to be somewhere, say like we needed to go to England. So instead of having to spend money on accommodations, we did a house sit. So a lot of times, you're just not going to go house sit to just go house sit unless you got money to travel back and forth or points or whatever you're using. But, you have a purpose for going there. If we say, hey, you know what? We need to go to Italy. Well, it's cheaper to get to Italy from here. And we could say, well, let's see if we can get a 2-week house sit in Rome or Florence or somewhere like that. Our cost is cut so far down. we're paying for food and stuff, and like I said, most of the time, some people will even go and shop.
Yeah.
They'll ask you, you know,
They asked us,
what do you like?
What do we
What do you like to
and
eat?
they would put it in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And the people in Britain did the same thing.
Yes. So, you know, it cuts costs and stuff like that. But no, it's not, we're jumping up saying, oh, you know, let's see if there's a house in the United States so we could just go hang out in the United States or something like that.
No.
You know, it has to have a purpose for it.
This is part of our travel vacation strategy to travel hacking. So yes, we pay for the airfare to get here, and then okay, it sounds like they got firecrackers.
Can I open the window?
So it's loud.
It's loud.
It's loud. Rhonda, do you think it is possible to house sit if my spouse loves plants? Do you hear that? There must be firecrackers.
Yeah, because they're shooting fireworks right there.
Right underneath the balcony. They're shooting firecrackers into the air.
Oh my
so
God.
It's fireworks.
It's fireworks. So it's like we have the 4th of July going out right outside of our window. And I look down in the square and it's filled with people. I mean, totally filled with people.
Okay. Which it usually isn't.
It's 10:51 at night.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock at night. This is our life, y'all.
And tomorrow's going to be even crazier because tomorrow's the actual
holiday. So stores are going to be closed and things like that. So Rhonda, if I would have your husband be the main applicant, you know, as the pet lover. But I guess the question is, and let us know if you can hear us with all of those fireworks going on.
I closed the window.
I know the windows are closed, but it is still loud.
It's right
and
there.
It's echoing. So I'm gonna go down to the bottom and see if y'all can hear us. Okay. Are the cats scared?
They're in the back room. They're in the other room. So.
Probably. They probably are. So when you say you don't like pets so much, what does that actually mean? Does that mean you just haven't been exposed? I mean, I don't understand not liking animals because I've always liked animals. But if I think he should be the house sitter, you should be the tag along. And you know, your job is to make sure that the plants get watered or whatever, right? And no ghetto hoods. That's right. Look. Bougie. I am not staying in nobody's jacked up thing. So, but yeah, Ron, I think he should be the main pet sitter and you should be the tag along. So even if you are going to be the one organizing and kind of being online, I would write it in his voice and say, me and my wife, and then ask him. Okay, there's the finale.
I should have been out there filming.
We can't film and be live at the same time.
Maybe tomorrow they'll be doing it again. You can film it and let you guys see what's going on.
Yeah, who knows? So that was the finale. So now it's over. That was loud. I've never been this close to where firecrackers are being let off. And then the other thing is, in America, there's no way they would have a crowd right around where they're actually launching the fireworks. So, of course, there's all stone buildings and tile roofs. So I don't think we have to worry about fire or anything like that, but still. So yeah, I would have my husband be the main house sitter, Rhonda. That's what I would do. Can I ask if the house is haunted or if someone has died in the house?
You can ask what you want.
No snakes as pets, big no.
No.
We had already talked about that. Like, don't have me showing up and there's some reptiles that I don't know about. Because Rick does not do snakes. He does not do snakes. Our son had a snake down in the basement, but Rick very seldomly saw it. So I suppose you could ask if the house is haunted. And then the question is, because we're staying in a building literally, she says 1700s, but I was listening to the tour guides. 1400s, 1300s. Someone had to have died in this building. In this apartment specifically, probably not. I don't even know if these were apartments. I can tell where they filled in windows and then built new windows and things like that when they rehabbed the building. Someone would have had to have. It's been here too long.
Yeah, but
that doesn't mean it's haunted.
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, ask what you need to ask to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I believe in ghosts, but I don't believe in ghosts. And I say that to say they know not to mess with me. If they exist, they know not to mess with me. I am not the one. I'll go South Central on them. Can I do house sitting with children? Yes. Is there a limit to the number of people that can accompany you on the house sit? Yes. The limit is what you tell them up front. So the friends of ours who will also be talking at the Move to Portugal virtual summit, they move to Portugal with their child. They house sit with their child. So husband, wife, child. And he's tween. Well, maybe he's like 13 now, something like that, 13, 14. But when they started, he wasn't, And so again, you get those 5-star reviews. This is not a wild child that's going to be bouncing off the satellites and knocking down everything, right?
Right.
Our children are well behaved. That goes without saying, but everybody's isn't. So they need to know. Did flooding affect you last week? Nope. No. So I don't know what's happening in Lisbon, but it's barely rained here.
Yeah,
and we live at the top of one of the 7 hills of Lisbon. That's why we live at the top. We don't have to worry about flooding. We don't have to worry about flooding. Can you house sit with an older child? Yep, you can house sit with tiny children, teens, older children,
if the owner
adult
agrees,
children.
Yeah, if the owner agrees to it, you're good.
Just don't bring anybody that you didn't let them know about. So we house sit as a couple. It's not me on the picture, it's us on the picture. And when we write the letter, like if we still had our youngest with us, my husband and I and our child love to travel. Right? You just tell them and they can say yes or no. But again, our friends who have a child will sit more than we do with their child. Okay, Pinky, let's hear your complaint. Yeah, so I know there's some house sitters in the audience. If you've got some complaints, some horror stories or good stories, let us know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching from the future. Hey, put a Q in front of it and let us know because I'd like to hear your experiences. So my only complaint since house sitting in those awful high efficiency front loader washers, I hate them. So I always look to see where the nearest clean, safe laundromat is. And laundromats in Lisbon, anyway,
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Every half a block, there's a laundromat. And I suppose everyone does not have a washer in their house. We have a front-loading washer. Here is a front-loading washer. I am now used to it. They're very small. We just wash more often. At least I don't have to go all the way down to the basement. Because in Denver, the master bedroom was on the top floor and the washer and dryer was in the basement. So 2 flights of stairs to do laundry, 2 flights carrying it back up, 2 flights going down. So I don't mind. But yeah, that, that's the thing. That is the thing. You've got to be somewhat flexible and a go with the flow type of person. Not sure if this was asked before. Do you know of any websites or services, THS, that is just for regular house sits without pets? Oh, besides trusted house sitters? No, I don't. I Google it. Apparently, there used to be a lot more house sits on trusted house sitters that were just about watering plants and stuff like that. There are also house sits where you're just feeding some fish. Especially if it's tropical fish, I don't want to do them. But if they're freshwater and it doesn't take all that stuff and it's a short one where you're not having to clean out the tank, I ain't cleaning out a tank. But I'll feed fish, right? So yeah, the cats, they might be used to it. They might be used to it because there's not always something going on, but there's a lot of things going on in this square, and this is one of the tourist squares that we're living in right now. Your voice is a little staticky, but we can hear you. Okay, good. So hopefully you guys can hear us better now. Not sure if this was asked before. Do you know of any website? Okay, just got that one.
We're good.
We're good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you know that tomorrow is a holiday? Yes. Yes, we do. So thankfully, I saw the signs up for the grocery store. So that was my first clue. But the people we're house sitting for WhatsApped us and let us know that it's a holiday. Oh, here's one of the cats. Let's see if you're going to come over here. If she comes over, then we'll show her. But she's,
She probably won't. She doesn't climb through too much stuff.
Yeah.
Well, then again. Are you
Yeah, so that is definitely why the fireworks are happening, because it's National Catalonian Day. We're learning so much. People think, oh, Spain is Spain, but no. No, it's a whole different language, and I don't understand it. Okay, I'm a new subscriber. I have been binging on your videos. Oh, thank you, BK. Binging on your videos for awesome content. I got our NIF and bank account through Border. Yay! Looking for the move next year. Bringing Rick coffee. Thank you. He he is never going to turn that down. Let me see if she'll come over here. Come here, sweetie. Izzy, come on, girl. Come on, girl. I don't know, y'all.
She's like, 1 minute you tell me get off the table, now you want me to come your way.
Exactly.
She's sitting right at the edge.
And there's a lot. Let me see. I'm going to turn the thing since we're at the end here. Nope, can't see her. Sorry, guys. We tried. All right, we are going to let you go. I don't see any more questions. If you want to live your dream life, if you want to live life on your terms, if you want to stop the grind, there are ways. You do not have to save up $9 million to live the life that we're living. You do have to have your money straight. Yeah. If you need help getting your money straight, we have a course. It's called Beyond the Bling, Money Mindset Makeover for Financial Independence. Because you've got to change the way you're thinking. It's going to help you change the way you think, and then it's going to help you come up with a plan. If you don't think you're a self-starter and want to do an on-demand, you can always book a call with us. And for those of you who want to do the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit, today's price is not tomorrow's price, y'all. Today's price is not tomorrow's price. The early bird pricing goes away in 7 days. Now, I know there's been a bunch of folks who've already gotten their ticket. We have already started putting the speakers up. And so you can see some of that. All the pictures aren't up yet, but I think we've got about 10 speakers already up on the website. You can go there, get the information, see what you need to see. I will put it in the chat once again. Sorry, guys, I'm bouncing this. He's trying to let this cat over. We'll see if she comes on.
Just don't want her to hit the lamp.
She's being Izzy today, and she's like, I just want to see what's going on. Oh no, I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. Anyway, I just put the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit link in the chat again. You saw her. They're pretty. They're 2 calicos, and they're very pretty. I want my ticket. Thanks for the link. Yay, Isan. Good. We're going to have folks talking about real estate. Real estate. Somebody asked that. Let me go back to that start question.
Roberto asked about it.
Selling our home next year, and we are going to purchase a smaller house in order to move to Portugal. Okay. Are you purchasing it in Portugal or the United States or your home country? So my question is, what is the real estate market like in Portugal, Lisbon, and Porto? It's out of control and doesn't make any sense. And Roberto, we do not recommend that you move over here and immediately buy a house. Some people do. We don't suggest that. Why? Purchasing a house, you should think of it as an investment. If it's an investment, you've got to do research. And the laws, the market, and everything else is like a 180-degree difference
It's way
in
different.
Portugal than it is in the United States. Okay. So, like we said, Britain doesn't have fixed rate loans. I don't know how you plan for that. Like the interest rates could do whatever they want to do. So you've got a plan that 5 years from now you may be paying 15% interest. I wouldn't buy. I wouldn't, or I'd get a loan someplace else, or I'd pay cash. Portugal, they don't have the same kind of turnaround with home buying as we do in the United States. We hear all day long about nice homes selling within the first week or two. All day long, we hear those, even with these high interest rates, right? It is not unusual for a house not to last any longer than a month, right, online. That is not the case in Portugal. The other thing is that the chain of title, who owns it, and getting all of that straight seems a little bit obscure to me. And it doesn't seem like they have things in place to absolutely guarantee that the person selling the house has a right to. So you're going to need to find an attorney who not only knows Portuguese laws, but have worked with enough Americans to understand the assumptions that we make. We make a lot of assumptions and we think things work the same everywhere. For instance, in America, it is typical that when you put in an offer, you offer earnest money. Usually it's about 1%, 2% of sales price, something like that, a few $1,000s. That earnest money will go away if you renege on the contract, right? But it will be returned to you if you've put this in the contract, and most of us do, that you find out something about the house's structure or something like that does not make sense, right? Then you can pull out of the contract and get your earnest money back. That's not necessarily a thing here in Portugal. I've heard of people asking for deposits as high as 50,000 euro. 50,000 euro.
And then asking if they could stay in it.
And then asking if they could stay in the house. So we did a video, Alberto, on purchasing a house, like back in January. So look for that video, watch it, listen to what they say. Why do I say it's out of control? Because there's a housing shortage in Lisbon and in Porto, just like there is in most of the major cities around the world. There are more people coming in with the Ukrainian situation and then just normal immigration, etc., into the market. What we have found is that you need to do a cost analysis. It may be cheaper to rent in the short term. If you buy a place and the average place is going for 500,000 euro, who are you going to rent it to? Because Portuguese people can't afford that. If you're paying cash and you own it outright, I suppose you can rent it for whatever you want to and you don't have to worry about it. But if you've gotten a loan for even part of that, even half of that, the average Portuguese person cannot afford to make up what you're going to have to pay in mortgage. And then I'm looking at your picture. In Portugal, for loans, you don't get a 30-year loan necessarily. You can get a 50-year loan, but it depends on how old you are.
How old you are, yeah.
They will not give you a loan past age 70. I think they're going to raise that to 72, 73, but as far as I know, it's 70. So if you're 60, you ain't getting more than a 10-year loan. So do that math. This is just a tip of the iceberg of why we do not suggest that people automatically come here and buy a house. Like, you don't even know the neighborhoods and stuff. What if you find out you don't like the neighborhood? What if you find out, it's not convenient? The buses, the metro, the whatever.
Yeah.
Be here for a year, figure out, well, not here in Spain, but in Portugal, figure out exactly what neighborhood you want to be in. What is your life going to look like? And then you can start looking at the real estate market. I still think that there's a bubble that's going to pop, but I could be wrong. This is what we're dealing with now is not sustainable. It's not sustainable for the Portuguese people. And so something has got to happen. But what we found is when we run the numbers, it's cheaper to rent. All right, I'm going to unstar that and go back to.
I was like, where'd everybody go?
And go back to the normal comments. And I think we were at the end. I just read. Yeah, and the housing laws are changing. So BK asks, we reached FI in 2020. All right now, but my husband is not crazy about retiring. Why? How do you get both on the same page? Any words of wisdom for me? I have essentially told him we're retiring next year. Y'all should have a conversation of what that retirement is going to look like. We've had people ask us, well, y'all do YouTube. You're not really retired. Yeah, we are. Our schedule is our own. And our financial independence is not dependent upon YouTube. So, but I'm not the type of person that can just do beaches and Mai Tais all day. That's not me. Like this brain, I will go crazy. That's why I'm learning 2 languages and we're doing the summit and I'm still trying to get this real estate investing course done. And we're live every week and every other Thursday, right? I can't do that. So retirement does not have to look like sitting around doing nothing, just less of the same. That's what I've noticed with the folks in the United States, my aunts and uncles and stuff like that. Their retired life looks like just less of the same. What do I mean by that? They're living in the same home. Maybe they're working part-time because they got bored, less of the same. They're doing the same things, just less of it. And it's like, if that's what brings you joy, go for it.
Go for it.
But for us, that was never our dream.
No.
To sit in a rocking chair and watch football all day. For those of you who were on the Beyond the Bling group coaching last night, we had Phyllis, my stepmother, on. We were talking about investing, and you know, they were asking her, how much time does she spend researching stock? And she said, you know, she goes in spurts. It might be like 2 hours this week, no hours next week, and maybe 5 hours 3 weeks from now, right? It goes in spurts. But one of the things that she said was pretty interesting. And she's like, I prioritize it. Don't do that. I prioritize it. I don't sit there and watch football games anymore. I'd rather be learning about how to make my money work for me. So I'll read a book on investing. I'll go watch a video on investing. I will do some research on new companies, right? And so what do you guys want your life to look like? What I would do is block off some time and say, we're just going to have some chill time and let's just talk about our future, what we want it to look like. And, you know, for those of you who are newer to the channel may not know, our initial plan was to retire in the United States, but it wasn't going to be less of the same. We're going to retire in the United States. We were going, okay, so now she's hiding underneath.
She's hiding
underneath. And we've got this on a step stool and she's hiding underneath the step stool. Hilarious. Cats are so funny. But anyway, so we were going to buy a Winnebago because that's the only brand of RV that I know. And travel around the United States or North America and make documentaries. That's what we were going to do. And that to me sounded like joy. Being out there, I love to camp and seeing new places, meeting new people, and doing our craft, doing our art. Well, instead of that, we're traveling the world. And instead of making documentaries, we're making little shorts that help other folks, hopefully, see what's possible. And so I think the same page is really coming up with a shared vision of what you guys want your daily life to look like. And right? That piece right there. That piece right there. So yeah, this is what our retirement looks like. Some days I wake up at 7, some days I wake up at 11. You know? And the only thing that I have to do is make sure we do our language homework and that we know what we're going to talk about with y'all when we do our research so we don't sound like idiots. Off topic question, apologies, and hello, Soul Bell Chic, or Bella Chic. Any great Barcelona Catalan restaurants you can suggest for a birthday celebration, vibrant with great food and cocktails? I think every place that we went to had great cocktails. Um, I, I can't. I can't. But if you are in the medieval part of the city of Barcelona, when you're walking around, I would look for where the crowds are. If they're out there trying to pull you in the restaurant, that's not where you want to go. That's not where you want to go. So we saw this one restaurant, and this one was empty, this one was empty, and that one was filled. We went there, and they had great food, and they had great sangria and everything else. So Pinky was going to do full time RV too. See, but this is such a better version of our lives, and we're just.
Yeah.
How do you like your life?
I love my life. I love my life.
And we want you to love your life too. We don't want you working until you drop. That's just no. That's not the life. That's not the life. Tomorrow is not promised. So the Move to Portugal Virtual Summit information is in the chat and it's below. If you need to get your money straight first, we've got a course for you. That's below. You can book a call. And we are going to let y'all go.
Let me see if she'll let me bring her over here.
Let's see. Okay, he's trying to get the cat. We'll see.
She might be cooperative.
She's not really feeling it. She is not really feeling
there
it.
There she is. Look.
Hey, baby. There she is.
She's like, okay, now you're a star.
Now put me down.
Now she's ready to go.
Now put me down. Look, here we go. And she's going back to hide. So that was Izzy, and she's usually the one. She doesn't sleep much, and she's usually the one who's bouncing around. But she's feeling a little something.
Now she's coming out. Huh? Now you're coming out. Huh.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We love you. We will see you on Thursday. We're going to talk about the real cost of taking care of aging parents. The real cost of taking care of aging parents. In the meantime, we love y'all and we'll see you later. Bye.